everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it is finally time to continue the main story as we enter patch 2.1, A Realm Awoken. Let's begin. We are here back at Vesper Bay as our first main scenario quest is of course going to be coming from Minfilia, as usual. Before we get started, I do want to unlock something real quick. Also, it is the beginning of the week, so let's do our minion roulette. This week we have the cursor. It's pointing at me. How rude. Anyways, as we begin, I do want to unlock something real quick, something worthwhile. Once you have finished the main story of the base game of A Realm Reborn, Wistful Whitebeard here will have a quest for us. Nothing like staring out at the sea to bring an old man back to his glory days. The good old times when his whole life still lay ahead of him and the greatest adventures were yet to be. Gah, don't you know better than to sneak up on your elders like that, young'un? Are you trying to send me to an early grave? Well, not early as such. But don't tell me. I can see it just from the look of you. You're an adventurer and an accomplished one at that, yeah? You may not be the graybeard I am, but I reckon you have a memory or two you'd be keen on remembering. So what say you join me for a while before you return to the road? After all, sometimes reflecting on the past can be just what you need to discover the path you'd forge into the future. And that unlocks New Game Plus. New Game Plus allows you to replay the main story, as well as various job quests and specific side stories. To replay old quests with New Game Plus, open New Game Plus, and select what chapter we want to play. Special rules and conditions will apply when replaying quests with New Game Plus. I'm just going to go ahead and real quick show where that is, under the Duty menu, New Game Plus. I have been mentioning as we've gone through the game that each of the expansions is divided into chapters. You can see here that so too is New Game Plus. In fact, these are the very chapters I was referring to when mentioning how the game's divided into chapters. We've got Part 1 through Part 4 covering all of the base game of A Realm Reborn, Part 1 covering the opening story arc when you are starting out in Limsa or Gridania or Ul'dah, Part 2 covering from your first 3 dungeons up through, I want to say, the end of the Sylph arc, Part 3 covering from there up until the end of Titan, and then Part 4 covering up to the Ultimate Weapon. We can also go over here, see that raids will have New Game Plus available. There will be various side stories that we can unlock. And we can also take care of various job quests in New Game Plus, including special ones for the roles themselves. We'll be getting into that eventually. But yeah, we've also got, of course, the base class you can do the New Game Plus for. So yeah, anything you have completed, you have to completely finish all of the quests in the chapter in order for it to unlock in the New Game Plus menu. Even our crafters and gatherers have New Game Plus. If you want to try it out, it is fun. I am actually on my main account going through New Game Plus of Endwalker right now, and I'm feeling things. I'm feeling emotions. I did Shadowbringers earlier this year, and I had emotions there too. Fuck, this game hurts in good ways. Anyways, I wanted to unlock New Game Plus real quick. I've also picked up, while we were doing side stuff for patch 2.0, a bunch of rewards. We'll be getting into those at the end of the episode. What else did I want to check before we go in? Oh yes, 2 things. I promised earlier, during the finale of A Realm Reborn, A Realm Reborn's base game that is, I promised that I would, in this episode, tell you when in Satora's story Operation Archon happened. I finally have dates set up. So I know that for Final Fantasy XIV, everything takes place in what's called a time bubble. Time doesn't really progress. It's always been 5 years since the fall of Dalamud. I believe the specific reason for that is twofold. One, so that the writers don't have to figure out how to navigate the fact that you can go back and do old side quests when they don't really technically, when technically they can't be happening anymore because they may be dependent on main story progression for their plot to make sense. It's just so they don't have to deal with all that messiness. And the other, bigger reason why the time bubble exists is so that individual players can come up with their own timelines for how their own character's story progresses. So I'm actively keeping track of how the dates in Satora's story, so I know how her story is progressing. So I know that in year 5 of the 7th Umbral era, the 3rd Umbral month, so that's month 6, so that's effectively June, day 16, would have been her 18th name day, and the day she set out for Limzolominsa. In the 5th Umbral month, which would be month 10, that would be October, on the 19th day is when she joined the Scions. The 6th Astral month, which would be November, on the 4th day was the 5-year Carteneau Memorial Service, where we joined a grand company and met Alphino and Alizé properly. I have decided that for Satora's story, that is the 5-year anniversary of Carteneau, 5-year anniversary of Dalamud coming down. And then finally, Operation Archon was in the 6th year, 4th Astral month, 27th day, was Operation Archon. And that happens to be exactly, by coincidence, I swear I didn't set this up, exactly 1 year from the banquet at the end of the first chapter where we see the flashback to Carteneau and we're sent out as an envoy to the other city-states. So that's a fun coincidence. Anyways, I promised that. I wanted to talk about that, so now I have. The other thing is... Oh, yes. While I was working on things called relic weapons between patch 2.0 and 2.1, which that's a struggle, but I did it on all 10 of my classes, and I also unlocked Blue Mage, but that's not relevant to this. I got all the relic weapons up to Zenith stage, which is the item level 90 stage. While I was doing that, I came to a realization playing Black Mage. One, I still hate Black Mage. I don't like how it plays. It's not necessarily bad, it's just not for me. And most of the people I've talked to who enjoy it are also self-professed masochists, so, yeah. I do want to say, if you are a healer or a bard and you have a Black Mage in your party, and the Black Mage gets paralysis on them, use your Asuna ability, your ability to remove debuffs, on the Black Mage. Black Mage gets priority for removing debuffs because, oh my god, if a Black Mage is paralyzed, it is not different from them being dead. In fact, it's worse because they're not dead, but they are functionally dead because they can't do anything because their cast times are so damn long and paralysis takes so freaking often. It is worse than being dead because they are not dead and it's so freaking annoying. Healers, I swear to God, use Asuna on Black Mages. Now that I have played more Black Mage and I understand this, I'm going to be prioritizing Black Mages for my Asuna ability. Oh my god. Black Mage is a very, very high damage class. It is a fantastically powerful job, but it's also so sensitive to everything going right. It is high risk, high reward, and you gotta be nice to your Black Mages. I'm begging you. Anyways, now that that's done, let's head in to pick up our next job from Infilia, but as we're heading in, I'm so sorry, it's gonna be a bit. I do want to check in with all the Scions as we head in. The Garlean threat may have abated, but there's no end to the work we Scions do. In our own unique ways, may every one of us continue striving to make a better Eorzea. Indeed, there's still plenty of issues plaguing the realm. There's still all the conflicts that the city-states have brought upon themselves through their conflicts with the tribes, so... hopefully we can bring peace there and at least prevent the primals that are getting summoned as a result from causing too much damage. The nerve of some petitioners, engaging us as if we were a band of common mercenaries. I should be glad to refuse them all without a second thought. What happened, Alphino? I imagine I'll be hearing more about this soon. My dear sister drew her last breath here in battle with the Empire. To her, the fight for Eorzea's future was more important than her homeland. True to her beliefs to the end, she was. I'm so sorry for your loss. I wish I had been here to protect everyone. I'm so sorry. No matter how dark the night, one day the dawn will break. As long as brave souls like yourself take up our cause, the Scions will never stand down. Glad to see people are holding hope, even after everything that happened. In bringing the struggle against the Empire to a decisive end, the nations of Eorzea spent much of their military strength. I fear the beast tribes have caught scent of this temporary weakness and will give us scant leave to rest. A hero's work is never done, Satora. Yeah, a major threat may be gone, but that doesn't mean we are ready to rest easy. Believe me, I am quite eager to resume active duties and redeem my good name, but I have not forgotten that similar sentiments nearly led me to my doom once before. I will not question the wisdom of our Baldessian colleagues. They have bid me rest, and so I shall. I do hope you continue to rest, get back to full fighting strength, and then pace yourself when you return to combat, Thancred. But now that we know just how easy it is for the Scions to take control, hopefully we'll all know to be more careful. Just when we dared to believe that peace had arrived, another primal awakens. I say, has there ever been rest for the weary? Nope, never once. So much has happened in this place. If the walls could talk, such tales they'd be able to tell. Alright, we've got our merchants over here. Can we? I think we actually can buy something off the merchant here. The orchestrion roll for the Waking Sands. Don't mind if I do. And also might as well stock up on my... I'll leave it be. And when I run low on dark matter, I'll stock up again. Dark matter is so useful for repairing your own gear. Do you know how nice it is to be able to repair your own gear above 100% condition? Haven't done it yet on Paladin, but it's so nice to be able to repair your own gear. And I'm so glad that I'm doing Omnicrafting. I should have done something, done anything, but I didn't, and now Abba and Auli are. I will not let it be for nothing. I will earn this. You hang in there, Arnvald. You didn't do anything wrong. It was the Garleans who did this to us. Alright, I believe that is everyone we need to check in with. So onwards to Minfilia. Oh, and as we begin the next main scenario quest, this is important because what I'm about to tell you is something that is required to progress the main story. By the time we finish A Realm Reborn's postgame, you must complete the series of hard primal quests, beginning with a reoccurring problem. You get a reoccurring problem from Minfilia here. This is required to move past A Realm Reborn and into Heavensward. You need to fight the following primals in order to move into Heavensward. The Bowl of Embers Hard against Ifrit again, the Howling Eye Hard against Garuda again, and the Naval Hard against Titan again. These three are required to progress the main story. A lot of people forget this and get very annoyed when they haven't done it by the time they get to the end of A Realm Reborn, and they're like, why can't I progress? Because those are required. It's very weird and not well communicated that they are required. I wish they communicated it earlier, but it is very important that you do those. They are required. Emphasis out of the way. Hopefully no one who's following along will then skip those and be like, why can't I continue into Heavensward? Hopefully that is sufficient warning. Let's continue the main story finally. Minfilia appears to be lost in thoughts. Satora, it pleases me to see you well. Do excuse me for interrupting, Satora. My lady, the gentleman from Ashkana Exports has just left. I understand now why you didn't want to receive him. You did well, Tataru. Please inform the guards that we will not be receiving any further guests this evening. Thank you, my lady. Ever since we defeated Gaius von Baelsar and destroyed his ultimate weapon, the eyes of the world have followed our every move, scarce remembering to blink. Where once we worked in secret with precious few friends and all too many enemies, we are now besieged by benefactors, each one more eager than the last to offer us this complete support. This must be what Alphino was griping about earlier. A true embarrassment of riches. Of course, every promise of patronage comes with a price. Some make their intentions known from the start, while others endeavor to engage us more subtly. Dress it how they will, the message is ever the same. We shall help you, but only if you help us. The gentleman Tataru spoke of was more brazen than most. In exchange for certain supplies, he would have us resolve a business dispute. Naturally, I refused him, as I have every other merchant of his ilk. Alas, the Syndicate's overtures are not so easily rejected. When we formed the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, it was with the goal of serving Eorzea, not the interests of individual Eorzeans. Our neutrality is fundamental to our cause. In my heart, I know this to be true, and yet And yet, if accepting these offers of patronage could empower us to do greater good, might they not warrant greater consideration? Our Baldessian colleagues have been generous beyond measure, but we cannot expect them to... Forgive me, I did not mean to burden you so. No, it's fine. That is definitely a heavy weight. Yet, my urge to share this dilemma may not be wholly misguided. Might I impose upon you to consult the others? They are like to have their own opinions on this matter. I can do that. I imagine you have no end of people harassing you. I confess I am conflicted. It may be wise to consult with the others. Alright, I'll go talk with them, see what they all think. Notably, Alphino is not on the list, which is funny, considering he is... I hate to admit it, but he is pretty important to the Scions. He did a pretty good damn job in getting us back together and getting us back on track after the raid. Okay, let's go check in with everyone, see what they think. Hello, Thancred. Fortune begets power, and power fortune. That we, and especially you, have power is beyond doubt. The question is what to do with it. You may be interested to know that there is a growing belief amongst the refugees that Alamigo could be liberated, if only the Scions would commit their strength to the cause. I want to free Alamigo, I absolutely do. Garlemald's gone, so that's fantastic. But we need to... I do feel like it is wise to stay and, like, observe the political situation. We don't know how Garlemald's going to respond to this. It could be that they redouble and try to come back. It could be that the tribes take the opportunity to try and get back at the city-states, which would be warranted, but we can't have innocents being caught in the crossfire. I do think we should push on Alamigo, though. Yet theirs is but one of many causes. We stand at a crossroads, Zatora. Each path is paved with good intentions, but where they lead is far from clear. Yeah, there's so many things that need... There's so many people that need helping. There's just too much on our plates. Recall you are meeting with the Admiral shortly after Little Minson sent word of the summoning of Titan. Then mayhap you also recall my words to our host. I said into Merlewib that her people had broken their treaty with the kobolds, and that the beastmen had justly responded. That we had been called to intervene in a conflict which she herself had invited. I spoke, in short, the truth. Limsa is racist as fuck. And wherefore did I speak it? Because, owing no allegiance to Limsa, I felt no compulsion to allow the Lominsons to distort the facts to fit a narrative which justified their actions and absolved them of guilt. Upon this subject, Minfilia can expect a similar reply. Our many dalliances within the city-states have already weakened our claim to neutrality, but the path she contemplates would see us relinquish it entirely. So that's a firm no from you. You are right on that regard. I do agree fully. I've been receiving a lot of gifts lately, but Papalymo keeps making me send them back. It wouldn't be so bad, but some of them are really nice. I mean, very nearly abandon your principles nice, you know? Ida? No. No. Bad. Don't give in to bribery. Don't give in to outright bribery. None can deny that we would benefit from more support, but if it comes at the cost of our principles... Neutrality was ever a delicate matter. I've lost count of the times I've had to explain to people that our allegiances need not necessarily lie in the same place as our headquarters. Mind you, if we are to sell our services for Gil, we might as well declare our fealty to Ul'dah now and have done with it. I'm quite sure Ida would enjoy the bribes. No kidding, apparently. 'Tis a lot of the powerful to attract the covetous as well as the needy. Thus does prudence dictate that those with power proffer aid with one hand, whilst the other ever resteth upon their hilt. Alas, we have not the luxury of time to decipher our petitioners' machinations. Nay, not while the beast tribes do labor unseen, defiant in defeat, to raise up their fallen primals once more. Doubt not that they shall return, stronger and bolder both, nor that we shall be the ones to meet them. This sacred charge shall ever be ours. 'Tis but a pity we are so few and our fortune so finite. And now we speak with Alphino. Got it. But yeah, it does seem like overall sentiment is... we need the extra support, but if we do get the extra support, we're basically declaring fealty to Ul'dah. Since they are by far the wealthiest city-state, we would be basically doing their whims. This situation is not wholly unexpected. I too have given much thought to our organization's future, though it would seem I have reached a different conclusion. Mayhap it is time I made my feelings known to the antecedent. Come along, Satora. Alphido, Satora, is aught amiss? You desired counsel, and so you shall have it. Minfilia, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn must leave Ul'dah. We must do what? So long as we remain within Ul'dah territory, we will never be free to act with impunity. Moving our headquarters to Vesper Bay only delayed the inevitable. We have demonstrated our capabilities, and the Syndicate has taken note. They will not suffer our organization to remain independent now. We are far too dangerous for that. Surely you realize they are the reason Vesper Bay still lacks an aetherite. They know full well how beneficial one would be to our cause. Which is why it and other favors will be denied us unless we cooperate. If Ul'dah is no longer suitable, where would you have us go? Experience has taught us that the appearance of neutrality is as important as the reality. Accordingly, we must keep each of the great nations at arm's length, and plant our banner in a place which all agree to be beyond their borders. Mordona. Revenant's Toll, to be precise. It lies within neutral territory and offers all the essential facilities we require. By way of an additional benefit, it is also frequented by a veritable legion of adventurers who may serve to supplement our ranks. I am, of course, conscious of the fact that we have developed a certain bond with Ul'dah and her people over the years. But I truly believe this to be the best course of action. Also, it'd be a pretty nice fuck you to Garlemald, placing our base right next to where one of their central bases used to be. That's funny. I like that. As you yourself observed, we have invaluable ties to the local community, forged through years of concerted effort. Ul'dah is our home, Alphino. To cast aside everything we have built and start anew in that desolate wasteland would be beyond reckless. Desolate Wasteland, for context, Revenant's Toll was originally literally just a campsite in 2.0, and over the course of the post-game patches for A Realm Reborn, it was built up into the city it is now. I really wish they had allowed you to actually see it be built up through as you progress through the main story, but oh well. The decision is yours to make, Antecedent. I ask only that you recall the shared purpose which first moved us to found the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and which moved you to found the Path of the 12 ere that. We aspire to an ideal, you and I, just as my grandfather did. That makes us more than mere comrades in arms. We are as much your family as... That will be all, Alphino. I am sure you have some familial affairs of your own to attend to. Your concern is most generous, but no, I have left them in the hands of men better suited to the task than I. I cannot very well allow my personal affairs to come before the needs of the Order, after all. And at this point, the main scenario is going to begin giving us accessories at item level 70. Heck yes! Okay, what do I want to grab? Fending, maiming, or striking? I'm sad that we can only grab one. Let's go with fending off the bat. It's fine that we're not able to get all of them. We'll slowly build up our accessories and slowly get to a point where we have a full nice set of eye level 70 accessories. But for now, bumping from 49 to 70, heck yes. Oh, look at that item level go up to 85. Beautiful. All right. Now then, before we finish off for the day, I do want to go over some various goodies that I picked up between episodes, between main scenario episodes specifically. We picked up from the Grand Company by spending Grand Company seals, the Attention emote for 40,000 Grand Company seals, the Reflection emote for 10,000 Grand Company seals, the Serpent Hatchling minion for 20,000 Grand Company seals. From the Wanderer's Palace, I picked up the Tonberry card from the boss there. From Amdaport Keep, I picked up the Demon Wall card from the boss there. Triple Decker 2, alright, that's an achievement. Let me just make sure I have marked that off. And that comes with a title too, Deck Holder, nice. Next up, from Ifrit Hard, from the Bull of Embers Hard, we got the Ifrit card, which also you can pick up from Triple Triad battle that we did back when we first introduced Triple Triad. From the Naval Hard, I picked up Titan's Triple Triad card. From Garuda Hard, I picked up Garuda's card. From a chest near the end of, but not at the end of, the Wanderer's Palace, I picked up Atonberry's Tears. From Amdapor Keep, I forget exactly where, I think from the chest at the end of the dungeon when you beat the boss, I got Cracks in the Walls. That's Amdapor Keep. And finally, we picked up the Waking Sands just a few minutes ago from the merchant here. Let me mark off that I picked up the Waking Sands Orchestrion Roll. We are not done yet with the goodies. Next up, we are going to report to, let's say Limsa. We need to go anywhere where there is a representative from Rowena. As from Rowena's representatives, one, I should finally properly introduce this. Once you hit level 50, you can start getting Elegant Tombstones of Poetics. These come from any content that is level 50 or higher. In particular, a really good source is Main Scenario Roulette, or really, a good number of the roulettes will give them. Though, really, you're not going to let me have that until I'm at level 90. Interesting. But yeah, our level 50, 60, 70, 80 dungeons roulette will give 100 per day. Main Scenario Roulette gives 350 a day. Level 50 and higher dungeons will start to give Poetics. Poetics are basically used to spend on catch-up gear. For example, we can go buy item level 130 gear for tanks, healers, various DPS, etc. And this will basically last us all the way through the end of the post-game of A Realm Reborn. For this playthrough, I am challenging myself not to get this Poetics gear. If you are playing yourself though, especially if you're a first timer, get this Poetics gear. Just skip any and all gear grind for the post game of Realm Reborn or any other expansion, and just buy the Poetics gear. The only time you can't use Poetics gear to catch up and get all the way caught up through the end of an expansion's gear requirements, the only time you can't get this Poetics gear for that is when you are on the most recent expansion, in the most recent expansion's post game. That's the only time Poetics gear is not available for doing catch-up. The actual thing I am coming here to grab out of the Rowena's representative, I think is combat supplies. We can go for special arms materials, which... Oh! You can get these here. Interesting. Okay, this is used for, this is all largely used for things like your relic weapons. What I'm here for is the miscellany. Because we can spend 3 Poetics for a Wide-Eyed Fawn, 3 Poetics for a Dust Bunny, 3 Poetics for a Fledgling Dodo, and we can get 3 Orchestrion rolls. Reflections, Frontiers Within, and a Fated Copy of Another Round, which we use in our crafting logs for level 50 1 star, which we did during the 2.0 patch stuff. Okay, I think that's it. I think that is everything I wanted to show today. A lot of the stuff we did today was just kind of like catch up, filling in gaps, filling in stuff that I've done between main scenario episodes. But with that, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, it's time to continue the main story as we are moving on. I'll see everyone next time for that.